taking refuge in your true self. I've been thinking about what refuge means and how, as humans, with all the fear that we feel on a daily basis, there's a deeply ingrained urge to seek refuge. And usually we're seeking refuge in external things. We're seeking refuge in financial security, emotional connection, physical connection, food, distractions, trying to control external situations, different ways to feel more secure, to feel like there's a safe place for us in this dangerous, scary life. So we're always seeking refuge. But are we seeking the truest refuge? Are we seeking refuge that's actually going to keep us safe? A refuge that's actually secure? If you seek refuge in a building, your safety depends on how stable that building is. And that's only a temporary, impermanent refuge. But if you take refuge in the highest refuge, if you take refuge in the highest self, if you take refuge in God, if you take refuge in universal law, if you take refuge in formless consciousness, the effortless presence that you are in the true self, that's the only stable refuge. What is the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha? The Buddha is not just that guy, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, but the mind that he woke up to is the same mind that is at the center of your lived experience. Taking refuge in your effortless presence is what that means. The Dharma, it's not just specifically Buddhist doctrine, but the universal law, the law of cause and effect, the laws of the universe that are described by humans, but also yet to be discovered. The ones that are obvious to us and the ones that are not so obvious, like on the quantum level. There's still so much mystery about how this universe actually works. If you take refuge in universal law, then you'll know not to walk off the edge of a cliff, because the law of gravity is one aspect of universal law. Not just because someone wrote it down, not because you choose to believe it, but because it is the way things are. It's the truth in that sense that it is that which is, whether you believe it or not. So you can take refuge in the truth and the universal law in that way and avoid walking off of a cliff. And you can set an intention to think, speak, and act in accordance with universal law. You can knowingly align yourself with the laws of nature, or simply set the intention to constantly come more into alignment, which is all we can do. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Sangha is the community. Is the community a safe refuge? In a relative sense, your community is made of humans who are fallible, so maybe it's not the stablest refuge. But having a community is a very valuable thing. The support, the encouragement, the reflection. And whether it's the people in your spiritual community, your friends, your family, or even the internal community of your parts, your inner child, your inner guidance, that inner wisdom, whether you call them guardian angels or your conscience, whether you think of them as internal or external, these subtle, less than physical aspects of yourself are also part of your community. They're also part of your Sangha. They could be. I'm suggesting that they are. So take refuge in them, in your angels, your saints, your ancestors, or just your inner wisdom, your inner guidance. Take refuge in the universal law, whether you knowingly align yourself or you set the intention to be aligned with it. Take refuge in the Buddha, not just the man Siddhartha Gautama, but the Buddha mind, your Buddha nature, your true self. Call it Christ consciousness, the true self. Christ is the Logos. The Logos is the divine mind, the divine thought, the word, the expression of the ultimate. That's what the universal law is. So whether you call it the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, you call it the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, you call it emptiness, shunyata, or you call it the fullness, the pleroma. Whether you're thinking of it, visualizing it out there somewhere, or you're recognizing it all as right here, right now, because right here now is all that exists. Just remind yourself. It's a good thing to remind ourselves and constantly retake refuge, especially in the moments you notice your habitual tendency to seek refuge in external things. Not to say you shouldn't enjoy external things, but notice when you're clinging. Sometimes I notice myself, for example, scrolling on Instagram or social media in general, and not just scrolling looking for something, but there's a habitual something about that movement of the thumb scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And there's a pressure behind the eyes, kind of looking for something. Sometimes it's on YouTube, I'm like this, refreshing the page, the home page, looking, not looking for anything in particular, not trying to find anything, but there's just like a seeking, it's a grasping. It's ultimately is trying to find a refuge, a landing place, but it's not going to be in the feed. It's not going to be on the Discover page. It's not going to be on social media. It's not going to be out there. In that moment, when I feel the pressure behind the eyes and the habitual kind of scrolling for something, if I'm lucky, I'll notice it and I'll just come back. You can always just come back. Even coming back is not exactly an accurate way to talk about it because you've never left. But you can recognize right here and right now, the true self is the truest refuge. Peace be with you. Peace be with us.